Hey, what's up guys? The Games with Gold roster has been updated for December and there's some really awesome games, some that I've personally been looking forward to playing for a long time.
Me too. We each had a go on a couple of them. I had Outlast. It was terrifying. Here's what we thought.
First up in this month's Games with Gold is a game that I've been wanting to play for a long time and will help fill a hole until Red Dead Redemption 2 finally comes out, and that's Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. Now, the easiest way to describe this game is it's a game similar to the Grand Theft Auto series, but has Batman Arkham Knight style combat where you just get to beat the hell up of all the bad guys with your fists. The game is set in Hong Kong, where you play as Wei Shen, who is an undercover police officer who is infiltrating the Sun On Yee, which is a triad organization. Now, what I absolutely loved about this game in the first few hours that I played it for was hands down the combat. If you're a fan of the Batman games, you're also going to love it. Rather than just shooting your enemies with machine guns, pistols, and blowing up cars with rocket launchers like you do in Grand Theft Auto, you get to do various combos mixing up standard attacks and heavy attacks, but what's really cool is how you can use the environment to take out enemies by slamming a shutter on their head, for example, or throwing them into a phone box, or just throw them over a rail. Sleeping Dogs is also an open world free roaming game, so there's plenty of side missions for you to do, but when you're on a mission, remember, you're still a cop. So if you go smashing up lampposts and smashing up Hong Kong in a car, for example, your cop rating is going to go down in that mission. So sadly, if you want to get all the unlocks, you can't go too crazy. But, I still did it anyway. But honestly, if you're looking for a fresh game to tie you up until Christmas, give Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition a go. It's got awesome characters, a really cool story, epic chases, and of course, really fun combat, where you just never get bored of using different parts of the environment to take enemies out.
Now, it may be December, but this particular game with gold doesn't really invoke the Christmas spirit. In fact, it's one of the scariest games I've ever played. Outlast. So the premise is classic horror at its best. You're a reporter investigating a rundown psychiatric hospital overrun by homicidal patients. As you do. Of course, it's fairly early on that you realise that this place is an absolute death trap and you need to get the hell out of there. Unfortunately for you, those crazy old murderous patients have locked all the doors and now you're a bit stuck. Unlucky that, isn't it? Now, one of the most unique and terrifying things about Outlast is the fact that you're incapable of combat. Think about it, a lot of horror games will have you shooting and slashing your way free, but Outlast follows the, if this were real life and you were a reporter, you wouldn't have a gun and you would be running away approach. It feels so utterly hopeless, and being left in such a weak state is not one that fills you with confidence. One of the only things you can do to save your bacon is to hide. Stash away in lockers and under beds and just stay there. Forever. That's right, never ever come out. At least that's what I would do if I had a choice, but apparently that doesn't progress the game any further and no one just appears and saves you. Another thing that really ramps up the fear level is the use of darkness. You'll find yourself completely immersed in pitch black a lot, unable to see your shaking hands in front of your face. The way to deal with this is to use your handy reporter's camcorder and stick on night vision mode. Of course, this drains the batteries though, so don't expect to be able to depend on this all the time. Batteries are hard to come by, and by using them all up too early on, you may find yourself completely screwed later on down the line when you're stuck in a dark corridor with an enemy stabbing you in the face. Hooray! Outlast does what any horror game should do well: jump scares. Horror games are all about the adrenaline kicks and scares and screams, and Outlast is full of them. From clever use of eerie music to enemies jumping out from the dark, you will find yourself screaming away. In fact, it's lucky for me that you can't hear any sound other than the game when you capture game footage. Otherwise, you'd hear a lot of me going, "Oh my god," and stuff like that right about now. It may not be your conventional family Christmas fun, but if you're looking for a twisted, terrifying game to scare you right to your bones, then make sure to check out Outlast. Ho, 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 all I want for Christmas is to hide under that bed and never, ever, ever come out again. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have a game that I actually had a lot of fun while playing, and that's Burnout Paradise. Now, you may know I've always struggled with racing games. All I do is crash because I'm trying to go too fast around a corner, or I just think I'm a much better racer than I actually am. Because if I see someone trying to overtake me, rather than focus on getting around the track faster, I'll just try and take them off the road. And that's why Burnout Paradise was perfect for me, because it wasn't all about being perfect around tight corners on a racetrack, but just pure, utter fun carnage. There's even events that are all about doing what I love most, taking out other cars in the mode Takedown, which I was quite chuffed about because I managed to get the Rampage achievement on my very first go. There's also so much to do in Burnout Paradise in terms of exploring the world, as there's loads of billboards for you to smash and shortcuts to find, and also loads of awesome jumps to try and land, which will help you to unlock a load of achievements, which is something I found myself doing a lot of in my first few hours of playing, unlocking tons and tons of gamer score. What I also really enjoyed about Burnout Paradise, and I'm sure you will do too, is the fact that it's not all about driving cars. You can also use motorbikes, which are a lot of fun, even if it is just to try and see how fast you can fly around the map, something I find myself doing a lot rather than just doing the events that I'm supposed to do. But that's one thing I will say about Burnout Paradise, there's so much to do. Every set of lights, every intersection has an event, whether that's a race or a rampage, and if you love trying to go as fast as you can, every street has a time for you to try and beat. Honestly, give it a go, you'll have an absolute blast, and why wouldn't you? It's free with Games of Gold.
And last on our December's Games with Gold list, and following my tradition of talking about games that begin with the word out, is Outland. If you're looking for a throwback to classic style platform gaming, then this is the game you need to play. The plot is a bit unusual. It involves dreams and shamans and two sisters who created the Earth, aka the Sisters of Chaos, one who controls the light from the sun and one that controls the darkness from the moon. So you're basically some hero's reincarnation, and the Sisters of Chaos are free and you're the only one who can stop them, and yeah, the plot is not the most important part of Outland. It's more about the gameplay. It's basically 2D platforming at its best. You use the powers of light to influence how you make it through. When you're at your most plain with no light and therefore weak, all light is going to do you some damage. But once you gain the ability to harness the power of blue and red light, you can use it to your advantage. Surround yourself in blue light to blend in with other blue light that would otherwise harm you, or surround yourself in red light to fight blue light monsters. Some of the platforming can get really confusing and tricky, and you'll have to think quick on your feet and fast with your trigger finger. When you're jumping from platform to platform and switching between the correct light to ensure you don't fall down, it can all get a little muddled, but muddled in a good way, you know? You collect coins as you go, and you can use these coins to buy power-ups and other such delights. I stashed away the gold and treated myself to an extra heart, which never goes amiss when you've got those annoying bug things trying to batter you all the time. You might find yourself getting a little lost too, as this is not simple left to right gameplay. You'll find yourself going in all kinds of directions, constantly asking yourself whether it's the right way or not, and desperately consulting the map. Things can get very frantic the more you progress, with enemies, evil beams of light, and confusing dead ends all mounting up around you. Gameplay aside, it's a beautiful visual experience. The red and orangey glow contrasting with the shadow art is gorgeous, so even when the puzzles might have you ripping your hair out, you can depend on the pretty scenery to chill you out a bit. Considering the game came out on the 360 days, it still looks stunning now. If you're looking for something where you can switch your mind off with some satisfying platforming and a lovely view as well, then this is the game for you.
So there we have it. Those are the games of gold for December. Make sure you go download the ones that you really want so you don't miss out. Also, let us know in the comments what you've been playing. And also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more content.
And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.